Hello, I'm Kristen. I'm back again. If you are new to these videos, please go back and watch the first one where I kind of introduce what I'm doing so I don't have to repeat myself every time. Basically, this video is going to be about I got through the second week of the MAIS program. And I just want to share my experience and thoughts about it. I love it. As I mentioned last time, it feels really good to be taking classes that are more, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, academic, more richer in what I'm learning. And I can already tell you that I'm applying it in weird places in my life. Like, I watched the Grammys last night, okay? And the Grammys last night were all about genre, like especially Beyonce. Like, I'm not gonna go off on Beyonce. I could, but I'm not going to go off because it's like she made this album and it's an album that defies genre, okay? And in interdisciplinary studies, we're talking about how to, like, what's a discipline? And discipline is something different than a genre, but it's a similar idea, right? Where you have this like bucket, it's like a silo, and it has its own stuff, its own people, and its own definitions, and its own way of, like for country music, it has its own aesthetic and it has its own conventions. Just the same way that like biology or, literature or whatever does. And so Beyonce makes this album, and it's like a country album that is also playing with the idea of what is country music. And there's a lot that goes into that when it comes to history and race and class and culture and gender, right? So watching the Grammys and watching her be acknowledged and honored when the Country Music Awards like completely snubbed her was crazy. And so I was just sitting there watching it and being like, man, there are people in country music that were really uncomfortable with her coming in because she's not the right kind of person and it's not the right kind of music. And it made me think about interdisciplinarity and how it makes people uncomfortable. And in a way, I can kind of see why. I can see why you want certain conventions. You have a certain body of literature and you have certain people that you listen to. And I get it. And I get that, empiricism has done good things for the world. And so I'm not saying that all disciplines are bad by any means. But interdisciplinarity it just seems to be where I go in my life and what makes me happy. And honestly, I think the world needs more of it. My poetry class is a documentary poetics class. And when I say that I didn't know that this, I don't want to say genre of poetry, but this type of poetry existed, I didn't know. I am creating kind of a very, very interdisciplinary project for this course, as well as my eventually research project for the degree that combines creative writing with sort of strategic marketing communication, as well as like some anthropology, right? I guess the summary of week 2 is that I'm enjoying myself. It is challenging. It's a lot of reading. I think I probably read, I don't know, like 150 pages or so this week. And I'm doing the same for this coming week. I guess if you have any questions that you want me to specifically address, let me know. Right now, I am, it's still kind of the early days, and so I haven't had to write anything long yet. I've had a presentation. I think it was about 8 slides, and I've actually written a great deal of the final project for the poetry class is an 8-poem chapbook with some type of multimedia component, and I've already started working on that, just because in creating poem 1, I was like, oh, this is going to be a poem in 8 parts. And then I was like, my professor does not want to read a poem in 8 parts, and my workshop will not want to workshop a poem in 8 parts. So this is going to be 8 poems, but all united around a theme of this one road trip. And I'm trying to put them on a clickable map with like sort of some writing, some creative writing, some poetry that takes the shape of like Google reviews. So anyway, and it's gonna be really interesting, I think. It's gonna play with different types of writing, and you know, the documentary aspect comes in of researching these places, which I've already been doing. So there's a research component, there's obviously a large writing component, and then there's like creating this online interactive map that I have no idea how to do. So I have to also figure that out. And then in my foundations class, it's just a lot of reading right now and discussion, and a small amount of writing, like a couple of pages per class. We have some bigger papers coming up, but that's what I'm doing so far. We're really, in the foundations class, we're really exploring the idea of interdisciplinarity and critical interdisciplinarity, as well as, you know, definitions and examples, and then types of thinking, epistemologies, and ways of, you know, knowing truth and understanding truth. And then in the poetry class, it's kind of like interdisciplinarity at work, because we are doing this documentary poetics. So I'm very excited. This coming week this Thursday is when we'll be taking the DART red line, all the way to the end as a class. And I think it'll be really fun. So I will update you, and I actually might go into our stories for the IS Instagram accounts. So that might be a good idea. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and again, questions and comments are welcome, and I will link the first video, or maybe the playlist, in the description box, so you can check that out. Thank you again. Bye.